Hey everyone, it's MGTOW Draws here with another video on, how to draw. This video will be titled something along the lines of how to draw a NAWALT, how to draw this legendary figure, this woman who does not exist. Well, whether she exists or not isn't really the question of today's video. I think that's been discussed in many of other MGTOW channels' videos. The NAWALT, if you don't know, it's the counter-argument to the MGTOW philosophy, which says that a woman, a good woman, one who is noble, one who doesn't fight for herself or who isn't hypergamous, one of them does exist. And I want to talk today a bit more about not what women do to kind of make us believe that there are no NAWALTs out there, but just generally this female mindset, which is sending society down on this kind of downward spiral. Okay, for those of you who are actually drawing along, you'll notice that I'm drawing here a kind of stick figure. This is just the structural bare bones of what I'm going to be drawing today. It's going to be a NAWALT who's dancing on a pole there. I've marked it all out for you, so if you feel like following along, get out your pencils and pen and paper and just and enjoy the ride. So the NAWALT springs from, or at least the belief that there is no NAWALT, it all springs from this feminine mindset. It is a mindset of selfishness and a mindset of just trying to promote oneself. And it's not just women who do this. It's not just hypergamy. It's just a selfish, general kind of me attitude, which is getting us into this situation in the West, into this situation where refugees can overturn our entire societies without even a blink from the men. And the fact that this all can happen is because of this selfish mindset. It's because people have allowed this to happen. Men of the past have allowed their women to vote. Not that that's a bad thing in itself. I don't think everyone should deserve the right to vote straight off the bat, regardless of their gender. But the fact that women were allowed to vote without any kind of responsibility attached with that vote, that's what our forefathers did. That's the power that they gave to the women. And we have to ask ourselves why. And it's that what I would put it down to is that they just wanted to please their women. They weren't willing to take a stand against their women and say, we know what's good for you, and what's good for you isn't to give you the blanket vote. And they pretty much were just vagina thirsty and weak-willed. Not all of them, of course. There's always going to be some resistance in cultures, and I believe that there were good men back before women were given the vote, who spoke out against giving them the vote, who foresaw what would happen today, which is a massive welfare state without any kind of way to pay it off. I have no doubt that there were men who fought against it, but generally the culture then was that men were just able to give women the vote, and there wasn't enough appreciation of the differences between the genders to kind of stave it off. And what for? I would say it's probably because the men just wanted to please their women. They were baiters, they were selfish, they just wanted peace in the now and then, and instead of telling the women no, they gave it all to them. And here we have the situation today, this welfare state Only a few years after the women are given the vote, we have a massive welfare state, huge debts, huge financial burdens that can't be paid off, that will never be paid off if nothing else changes. And it's this selfish mentality where people just want to be seen to be doing the right thing. Women who stand at the train stations and who want to just be seen holding signs, welcoming refugees. Men who do the same thing. Men who go to these women's rallies, who join feminism. They just want to be seen to be doing the right thing, but they don't actually want to do the hard work of making any change. That's the feminine mentality that I'm talking about. And that's the feminine myth, or at least the basis from which the NAWALT comes from. Is there a NAWALT in the world? Well, can there be a NAWALT in the world if even men are succumbing to this selfish mentality? I would argue that there is no NAWALT in the sense of a noble woman. There are women, perhaps say in Asia, or more conservative countries with conservative cultures or with religious backgrounds, Islam, Christianity, for example, where the women are still respectful of their men, but not because they are in any way noble or integrity or have integrity, but more because of social factors. In those kinds of cultures, it's the same mentality. People want to be seen to be doing the right thing. The women in Islamic cultures, they want to be seen among their relatives and their family that they're adhering to the religion, that they're serving their men well. It's not that they're doing it out of any kind of self-motivated integrity. Okay? And I think there's just a general lack of integrity that men are seeing all throughout the world. And this is why I think people are turning to MGTOW in droves. People are turning to the right in droves as well. People are sick of seeing just goodies being given out with no effort gone in to produce or to earn it. People on welfare for generations, people coming into their countries, destroying them and hating them, yet being given the same rights or free apartments and free groceries. For what? Governments, politicians serving themselves. For what? Not serving their own people. I don't understand. And it all comes from this selfishness. And yeah, if my argument is that if men even find this kind of self-flagellating virtue signaling, which is essentially what it is, if even men can find that attractive enough to throw away their morals or their kind of sense of integrity, then what woman is going to have the willpower to do that herself? It would be the rare one, indeed, who's able to fight her selfish desires and kind of, do what this woman in this picture's doing. Dancing on a pole that's grounded in a sandwich. Who's prepared for her man. I imagine this is all happening in some alternate universe, but certainly not in this one. Now, I kind of haven't really spoken about the drawing process at this point, but essentially what I've done is fill in the structure of the skeleton that I drew right at the start. You can see I drew a sandwich at the bottom. I do like sandwiches. I can't deny it. This one's a turkey one. You can fill yours with whatever you like. If there was a NAWALT, she'd already know what you liked in it. Just saying. Anyway, that concludes the discussion I wanted to have on this topic of the feminine mindset, this selfishness, and I think it has to stop. It has to come to an end. And I think my generation, Generation Y, and the millennials that are coming after, I think we're starting to get a real grip on what the problem is. And I hope that ours is the generation that's going to start swinging the pendulum back to normality, back to integrity, and back to masculine values, such as holding yourself to your own word, promises, in that kind of integrity, and basically just treating yourself only to what you've earned, not taking from others and stealing and what all of these welfare recipients, what these refugees are doing. None of this kind of unearned business. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to end it there. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to share. It really makes me happy to see that people are subscribing. Also, write a comment in the box below. If you have any specific requests, I'd love to hear them as well. And I look forward to hearing from all of you. All right, take care, you guys. Ciao.